And I would be remiss not to ask you to tell us the story about partnering with John McAfee.
Yes. So
this is the security guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
McAfee Securities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm big into crypto, right? I'm a firm believer of Bitcoin being the future. I have a lot of my holdings in that. And so 2017 was the last big bull market for crypto. And all of these altcoins were just going crazy. And one day I had this thought, and I thought there has to be a way to predict which altcoins are going to just go crazy. And I thought, there's no fundamentals here. It's all emotion. It's all hype. So I wonder if I could find a way to quantify how much hype a coin had versus the market size, the market cap of the coin. And so I partnered with my friend. He's a super nerdy, smart guy. And he created an algorithm with me that it took like every altcoin's Twitter mentions, Twitter followers, Reddit mentions, Reddit followers, Facebook, just mentions online, everything. And it assigned a score to it. And then we just took an API through coinmarketcap.com, which has all the data on all these coins. And we just divided it against the market cap. And so if it had high hype, but low market cap, then our algorithm said buy. Like that's going to go like the market cap has not caught up with the hype yet. But if it had low hype and high market cap, then it was sell, short, right? Because there's just not enough hype supporting this. And so over the course of about a month, we built up it was just all in one Google sheet. And it was just all these APIs pulling from cryptocompare.com and CoinMarketCap and Reddit and Twitter and all these places. But at the end of the day, it gave us a ranking 1 through 100, best to worst, of which altcoins had the most upside. And it worked. And I started investing in it, and it worked really well. And no one knew about this. I had no followers on Twitter. It was just like a project I was doing. So I thought, man, like not only does this work, but this could become a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You tell people this is going to go up. Now they're actually buying it, and then it actually is going up, right? So I thought, if I need to launch this, like I need to monetize my hobby, right? Mm-hmm. Just like I said. And so how do I do this? So I can grind for months and build a Twitter following and build a business and put a website, or I can just partner with an influencer. And so I just looked at all the crypto influencers out there. And at the time, John McAfee was the biggest.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. I mean, now you have Pompliano and you've got the Winklevi and you've got some really smart, like reputable people that know a lot and that are well respected. At the time, those guys were still around, but they weren't as well known. And it was John McAfee, and he was who he is. He's crazy. And he's a loose cannon, and he is exactly what you hear about him, right?
He was like living on a yacht with like tigers on it and stuff at the time that you were like talking to him. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, and so everything you heard about him is true. The murder charge, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
right? I can't. I wasn't there. Anyway, so I just thought, man, if I could get him to tweet about this could blow up. And the idea was to have a paid community like Trends. And at the time, there were a lot of these. There were like these traders that would have a paid community that would be like half a Bitcoin a month just to be a part of this community. And at the time, that was like $400 a month. And so I thought, man, if I could get all these paid members, I could just give them my picks. They could invest accordingly. And so I need to get a hold of John McAfee. And so he famously does not like getting a hold of, right? He's very secretive. And so I just started trying to guess his email address. And so I tried like John at McAfee.com, J McAfee at McAfee.com, JM, trying all these. And I used this email software that tells me if my email's been opened or not. And they were getting bounced back. No one was opening them. And then I sent one that didn't bounce back and it got opened. I was like, that's got to be him. I think I guessed it. And so he didn't respond. So I emailed him again. I'm like, hey, following up. And my pitch was like, listen, John, you're into crypto. I'm into crypto. I've created this algorithm. I want to present it to you. I want to partner with you on it. Are you interested? And he wouldn't respond. So I emailed him, and he finally emailed me back, and he was very skeptical and frankly rude. And he just said, Chris, like, I don't care if God himself presents himself to me and says that your algorithm works. Like, I don't buy it. I don't believe it. I don't want anything to do with it. And he didn't really understand my pitch. And I saved all these emails. And I emailed him back. I'm like, just let me show it to you. Just give me some. I'll go to your house. Let me show it to you. And he came back and he was skeptical. And we kept going back and forth. And then so finally he said, all right, I live in Lexington, Tennessee. I will give you my address the morning of, and it was like February 28th, 2018, I think, or 17. I don't remember. And he says, meet me at 1:23 p.m. at my house, and I'll give you the address the morning of. So I was like, okay. So I flew to Huntsville, Alabama, because I had friends there. That's where I used to live. And it was like 2 hours north. And so that morning I emailed him and I'm like, hey, I'm in Huntsville. I'm coming up. What's your address? And he never responded. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to start driving towards that city. And so I started driving and I checked my email on the way. And he finally responded. He gave me his address. And so I was like, okay, this is on. And so I get to his neighborhood and it's like it's like an upper middle class neighborhood. And I pull in and he lives in it's like a southern neighborhood, brick homes, right? Kind of like you'd see around here. And he lives in like this Spanish style stucco, like a home straight out of California in the middle of this neighborhood. It just looked totally off. There was like a yellow Hummer next to like a beat up Nissan. And just like, you could tell he was like the problem child of the HOA, right? And so I get there and it was like 1:20 p.m. So I waited 3 minutes in the car. And then at 1:23, I knocked and he opened the door himself with his wife, just totally confused. And he's like, he didn't know who I was. I was like, hey, John. He's like, who are you? I was like, I emailed you about that algorithm. And he's like, oh. He's like, right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can predict crypto. Right. Yeah, I remember you. Sure. Okay, listen. I've got this film crew from Australia here. It's like the Australian 60 Minutes. They're filming a documentary on me right now. It's a crazy day. We're about to go to the liquor store. Just come inside, sit at my dining room table, wait for me. I'll be right back. So I'm like, okay. So I walk in and there's like a camera crew. There's like a boom and like armed guards with like AR-15s. Like, I'm not exaggerating, guns everywhere. I go in his kitchen. I sit down at his breakfast nook and all the countertops are just liquor bottles everywhere. And I'm a Mormon guy, right? Like, what am I doing here? It's like smoke billowing out. And like, as soon as I get there, like everyone leaves and I'm just sitting there. What I thought at the time was alone in his house and not knowing when they'd be back. And it's just, the juxtaposition was crazy because this guy is like hyper security, just super secretive. He's got armed guards. And then all of a sudden a stranger walks in and I'm at a table and there are laptops and hard drives at the table with me, just sitting on the table. And I'm like, there could be $100 million worth of Bitcoin on that. And he's just letting me sit next to it. It was just weird. And so I like took videos and sent them to my friend. I'm like, I'm in John McAfee's house. If I go missing, like, yeah. And so I just sat there and I just waited. And then I heard a guy around the corner cough. I was like, is someone here? So I go around the corner and his assistant / bodyguard, Jimmy, was there. And he was just like a former Navy SEAL, just like this huge meathead looking guy. And he was on his MacBook. He's like, what's up, man? Oh, are you the algorithm guy? He was actually pretty friendly. You the algorithm guy? Oh, cool. Let's sit down. Let's talk. So I just like gave him my pitch. And he's like, oh, man, this is going to work. This is huge. Man, I can't wait till Mr. McAfee gets back and I'm going to sell this to him so hard. Like, this is going to be huge. And I was like, okay, cool. You know? So we just sat there and talked for a while. And then they all got back and John McAfee sits down. So now we're at like the dining table around the corner and he sits down and he's like, all right, I'm going to give you an hour. He's like, give me your pitch. And so I was like, all right. So I opened my MacBook and I was like, and I just start going into it. And then the cameraman was like, hey, do you mind if we film this? And he's like, do you care, Chris? I'm like, no. So like, this is going to be in like the Australian 60 Minutes. It was a whole hour-long special about John McAfee. I was like, okay, I didn't expect that. So whatever. And so like all these people sit around me and the camera's on me. And he's like, all right, give me your pitch. So I give him the pitch and I tell him everything. And like within 30 seconds, he's like, this is brilliant. Like he doesn't 180 immediately. I was just like this idiot kid. And now he's like, Chris, this is brilliant. Like this, Chris, you're brilliant. We're going to make so much money. All right. What do you want me to do? Anything. What do you want me to do? Like the opportunist in him just like freaked out. And so I was like, well, I want you to tweet about this and I want to start a free community and give people some of the picks and then launch a paid community off the free community that's like hundreds of dollars a month where I give them all the picks, everything. And I show him how it works. And he's like, let's do it. All right. So we agreed. I think I agreed to give him like 25% of the profit or something. And so we kind of have a handshake agreement and I'm there like the whole day. Like he ends up getting Mexican food and then like they filmed the special in the living room and it was just the wildest day of my life, like so out of place. And I leave and I call my wife and like, babe, you won't believe what just happened to me. And then I get home and I launched this paid community. And are you familiar with Discord?
Yeah.
So it was all in Discord and I didn't know what I was doing. right? With this community. So I launched a Discord group and it was called No BS Crypto. And just because, these picks actually worked. It wasn't just like a pump and dump. It was based on actual data. And so I wanted to be like different. Like this is no BS. Like this actually is real. And so I launched this community, and I hadn't changed the settings to where basically the Discord settings by default were anyone that joined the group could make themselves an admin of the group.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And so I made a link and I got a website ready, and John McAfee was texting me and he's like, all right, let me know when it's ready. I'm going to tweet out. And he had 900,000 followers. And so he tweeted and he said, I basically told him exactly what to tweet. And he was going to tweet twice a week about me, whatever I wanted him to drive traffic to this group. And so it said like, No BS Crypto is this algorithmic picks that will predict the future price of an altcoin. Like join this Discord group for free access. And so he tweeted it out, and like within seconds, like I don't even know how people click that fast. Within seconds, like 1,000 members, 5,000 members, 10,000 members. And like the feed started blowing up. It's just like a group chat, right? And my eyes get big and I was like, wow, we're doing it. This is amazing. And then all of a sudden like hackers, and then like porn flashing across the screen. And it's like, what is happening? Like immediately from 100 to 0. And then it was like, everything just started spamming out, and then all this spam, and then people like their username turned blue, which means they're an admin. Like all these people were becoming admin and booting other people. And it just, within seconds, it became like overrun by quote unquote hackers. And it was really just people that knew Discord well enough to make themselves an admin. And I lost full control over it, like immediately. And I was like, what have I just done? Like, there's no reversing this. And so I call him. I'm like, John, I'm so sorry. Hackers took over the channel. I need you to tweet it again. I need you to delete that tweet, and I need to send you a new link. And he's like, I never delete tweets. It's against everything I am. I never delete tweets. I was like, John, like I have to close this channel down. So people are going to be clicking to a dead link. And he was pissed. I was like, I'm sorry, but we have to do this. He's like, all right. So he deleted it, and I gave him a new link where I set all the settings up, and he's like, hackers took over the channel. Try this link. And then people came back in, but like, it was like a third of how many people came in before.
Yeah.
And, but then that launched the community, and we had this big thriving community, and he tweeted about it twice a week, and thousands of more people would join. And so my Twitter handle used to be @NoBSCrypto. And so we launched this big product, and we launched our own token. We got listed on exchanges, and I wrote like this 18-page white paper, and it was like this community-based token that would vet other projects. And like we had like a team in Nigeria that were like, it was like for a year, it was like this, it became like this big thing with this token. It's a market cap of, I don't know, 30 million or something. And we got listed on these exchanges, and then we did a free airdrop. I got like 55,000 retweets on this airdrop. And I went from like 0 to 80,000 Twitter followers. I don't know how many of them were bots. And then like the market it started crashing, right? Like Bitcoin went, and then everything went with it. And all these altcoins went down 85, 90, 95%. And the community just started drying up, and I just shut it down. I gave it over to the community. Like I gave the community half a Bitcoin for like operating costs. And then I just gave them all the passwords and the website. And I said, guys, like, run with this. Like, I'm done here.
Dude, what?
And they just took it. Yeah.
Did you actually make any money off of it while you had it?
I made some money.
Off the community or the coins that you were pumping?
Off the community.
And you weren't really pumping the coins. You were just telling people, look, we have this algorithm that's taking all this data, and we're just showing you where the hype is. Here's the market cap. The odds are very good that this is about to run.
Yeah.